Hey, what's up, my friends? Aaron from Unison here today, and today I have another video about kind of a more mental topic, not necessarily anything that has to do with the DAW, but I just wanted to go over, beat block. I mean, everyone experiences beat block, writer's block, whatever you want to call it, and so today I just wanted to go over some different methods and ways that can kind of help to get rid of that mental block and to kind of get you just into the DAW and just having a good time instead of just feeling stuck. And so today I'm going to be going over 10 different tips that have helped me just to get out of my head into the DAW and just have also helped me to jumpstart on ideas. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so how do you overcome beat block? Well, I feel like one of the most practical things that you can do is to stay consistent with creating. This can be said for anything that you do in life. As long as you stay consistent with it, you're going to get better at it with time because, you learn things as you go through the process and you learn what to do, what not to do, what you like, what you don't like, what works for you and what doesn't, things like that, Just staying consistent with it can help tremendously and, you'll find ways to break that beat block a lot easier because you're staying consistent with it. And so I feel like, if you can at least start an idea once a day, even if it's just like, 30 minutes to an hour or even 2 hours, if you can set aside 2 hours of time a day or even every other day, just some type of consistency in your life and making time for it, then that can tremendously help. And with time, you'll get better. And so that kind of leads into the next thing, which is also know when to step away and know when to accept that this is not going anywhere either. So say that you are staying consistent with it, you are making a beat a day, but you're just forcing it at that point. Well, step away and, go do something else. Go for a walk, go and cook or watch a show or whatever it might be. Just step away from the computer and do something else. And so for me, I do this a lot where, if I'm feeling like I'm forcing something, then I'll step away from the computer and I wait until I start thinking about my DAW and making music. And I kind of like have this itch to make to where I'm like, oh, I'm really feeling like making music right now. Like that's what I want to do. Then that's usually when I come sit down at my desk and I'll start making something. And so you have to want to go and create as well. If you're just doing it for the sake of creating and you're not feeling inspired or anything, then, what's the point? Because, then you're just gonna not have fun when you're doing it. And so I feel like by finding that balance of taking breaks but also staying consistent, it can help tremendously. And so for me, like I set aside a day or two where I just don't do music at all. These days are just for myself. So I think just finding some type of schedule and setting that up for yourself can also really help too. Okay, so we've talked about mental things, but what about things that you can do in the DAW? Well, one thing that I've done a lot, and I've done this with other producers too, is setting kind of like timed beat challenges. And so essentially, if you do like a 30-minute challenge, 45-minute challenge, 60-minute challenge, whatever you might decide, basically you and a friend, or if you have like other friends that you might make music with, you just set a timer and you start an idea, they start an idea, and then after the 30 minutes or however long, you go and you switch and you work on each other's ideas. And then after another 30 minutes or so, you switch back. And then after a while, you have two brand new songs right there. And you also have kind of like this outside perspective from your friend and vice versa. I think also like bouncing ideas off of another person and just getting the inspiration from another person to kind of creatively fuel yourself can hugely help as well. And so that's a great challenge that you can do. There's actually another one, which is the fourth thing I want to go over, and that is to set limitations on yourself. And so there's another type of challenge where you say you have like one particular sound or sample, or you have like only a certain amount of samples. Maybe like you got like a sample pack and you can only make a beat with those sounds. I think that that's also a great kind of tool because then it kind of pushes you to think differently versus, especially nowadays, we have access to so many tools, so many samples, so many things to where it just becomes kind of overwhelming. And I feel like for me, I don't know where to start because I just have so much at my disposal. I'm just like, wow, well, how do I start? I have so many different ways. And so I feel like setting limitations on yourself can hugely go and help with just not overthinking things and just getting straight into it and just only using what you have and making it work. And so little challenges like that, I feel like are great ways to kind of just like jumpstart your creativity when you're not overthinking things. You're not trying to make a banger. You're just having fun with it. You're just making beats. And so I think that's a great way to kind of go and just feel your creativity when you are feeling stuck. It helps a lot for me as well when I'm just like, oh, I don't know what to start, what style, what idea. I don't have any ideas. Well, just grab some samples and time yourself and just see what you can make from it and go from there. And so that actually leads into the fifth thing, which is set no expectations. You know, a lot of times we go into making a song and we want it to be a banger. We want it to be the best thing we've ever made. Of course, we all want to make the best music we've ever made. We want it to, you know, just change the world or whatever it might be. But I think if you set no expectations for what comes out of the DAW and you just have fun with it, then you won't run into that mental beat block as much because you're just having fun with it. You're not trying to live up to a certain standard. You're just enjoying what you're creating. And by doing that, typically, I personally usually come up with like my best tracks, beats, whatever it might be, because I'm not trying to go and make a masterpiece. I'm just going with the flow, feeling the vibe out, and not thinking about it too much. The sixth way to get rid of beat block is to try a new style. You know, especially if you're doing the same type of style all the time, it can kind of become cumbersome and just uninspiring. And so if you try a new style or a new genre out, then it can definitely help to reignite inspiration, and it's kind of just like a fresh palette when you're going and making music. You might find yourself grabbing for different types of sounds or different types of samples or approaching the song structure differently. And so by doing that, you might think differently when you go back to creating your typical style if you have a certain type of style that you are approaching with your music. Additionally, downloading new samples. I always like downloading new samples or new plugins or grabbing new presets. You know, just grabbing new tools can definitely help. And like I said before, you don't want to overwhelm yourself with tools. But if you're kind of getting tired with the tools and you're like, okay, I want to try something new, I want to try something different, then going and just grabbing whatever it might be, samples, presets, anything like that, it always helps to kind of re-inspire me because I might hear something new that I'm like, ooh, I get inspiration from that, let me grab that. So if you are looking for a pack that you maybe want to try out that you don't have, Unison has some great essential free packs on their website that you can grab. If you click the link below in the description, you can pick up some free packs, and who knows, you might find some new inspiration in there that can help to get rid of your beat block. Number 8, don't get caught up in the little details. When you're going and you're making a beat, don't go sitting there perfecting the snare or the kick or the sound that you're doing your melody and things like that. Yes, try and get something as close as you might envision, but if you can't get it exact, that's okay. You can always go and deal with that later. But when you're in a creative flow state, you want to just go, and just try and just knock out as much of the beat as possible. Because then, you know, if you're getting caught up in those details, you're going to lose that creative motivation, and then you're just going to, you know, kind of get stuck. And so I feel like when you're in that flow state, you just want to go as far as you can with it before you kind of run out of that steam. Number 9, don't be afraid to break the rules. Don't be afraid to try something new, to kind of, you know, step out of your comfort zone, think outside of the box, and just try something completely different, completely off the wall. I feel like just doing something that just has, you know, it may not be like a typical structure of a track, or it may just have like the most weirdest sounds in there. And so I think just bending the rules and trying new things, I mean, that's what leads to, you know, new genres and new styles and new just things happening. That's what leads to these big hits that happen. And then a lot of people will go and kind of chase and stuff too. And I think going and trying new ideas, you know, could lead to the next big movement. in whatever style you might be doing. And so, you know, even the videos that I do here and that the other instructors do here, I personally see them as kind of more so guidelines versus like a golden rule type of thing. You know, I go and I share the information that I've given you, but I feel like you can always go and throw that out the window, or you can just use that as a guideline and tweak to your liking and kind of go from there as well. But I think, you know, it never hurts to try something completely off the wall, because it could just lead to the most craziest thing that could end up being the next big trend. Who knows? It never hurts to try out new things and see what happens. Number 10, don't overthink things. If you follow Kenny Beats, his motto is don't overthink. And I think that applies to anything creatively. Don't overthink, have fun with the process, and just enjoy it versus going in with the intention of, oh, I need to make a big banger, I need to do this, I need to do that. Yes, definitely set some boundaries for yourself so that way you're getting good quality content, but at the same time, don't set the bar so high that it's just unreachable at the point where you're at. And so just don't overthink, have fun, enjoy the process, because with time and consistency, you'll get better at what you're doing. All right, my friends, well, that's it from me for today. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing to Unison's channel, leave a thumbs up on the video, and have a good rest of your day. I hope this helps out. I hope you make some great music, and we'll see you next time.